All right. Good morning, everyone. So today is the start of week 3. So today we're gonna start with looking at integers and BEDMAS. So I will bring up this your work package here. So grade 9s and 10s, you have the exact same work package for today. It will start to change around Wednesday, I believe. The grade 10s will do something different. My screen's acting up a little bit. I don't know what's going on. So your first task is to do the unit 2 test on the rates, ratios, and percent. So get that done. I'm sure by now most of you have done that. So we're going to look at the integer review. So this is something that shouldn't be necessarily new to you, but we're going to go over it. So it would have been better to be in class because we do have a number line up on the wall. But I provided you with one on here, and there should be some on all of your work as well as your quizzes that'll help you out. So first things first, any movement to the right, why is it blue? So anything, any movement to the right. So if you're going this way, is going to be a positive movement. So it's going to be something that you add. Okay, so that's an important thing, that it's a positive movement. We're back to the blue again. And any movement to the left this way is going to be a negative movement. So that's okay. So for example, if we look at 5 plus 9, you're going to start at 5 here. And because it's a positive movement, you're going to move to the right. So you're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and this will be your answer. So 9. Okay, so I'm erasing this and moving forward. Okay, so like we just said here, if you start at 5 and you add 4 on the number line, it'll give you your answer. And because it's a plus, we're moving to the right. If it would have been 5 minus 4, you would have been moving to the left here. Okay. So some of the important things or important rules when you have two signs that are side by side, so there's no number in between the numbers. If you have two negatives and two positives, that's always going to give you a positive, meaning that you're going to add. Okay. If the signs are different, if you have positive and negative, or negative and positive, you replace the 2 with a minus. Okay. Once you have replaced all the double signs, it's just a matter of moving left or right on the number line. So if you ever get two signs, a plus or a negative right beside each other, you need to change those, and then you can work on the number line and finding the answer. So I'm going to erase this, and we're going to do a few examples. Okay. So here, changing the blue. We do a dark blue. So here you can see that you have double signs. So you have a positive and a negative that are beside each other. So that means that you're going to change it to a negative. So the negative is always stronger than the positive in these cases. So that means that in this case, it's -3 minus 6. That's what it comes up to. It's the exact same thing. Okay. So then you look at your number line. So you're going to show the movement on the number line. So we're going to start at -3. And because it's -6, that means that you're going to be moving to the left. So you're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, meaning that your answer is -9. Okay. If we look at number 2, we have 4 plus +3. So we have two signs beside each other. And because they're both positive, that means that is going to be a plus. So we're going to put 4 plus 3. Okay, so in this case, we're going to start at 4. And because it's plus, you're going to move to the right. So you're going to move 3 to the right, and that'll give you your answer. Okay, so your answer here is 7. For number 3, we have -5 minus -7. We have our two signs that are beside each other. Two negatives make a positive. So the way I think about it is there's two negatives and they come together to make a positive. Little trick that I've always had. So that means that -5 plus 7. So we're going to start at -5 here, and because it's plus, we're going to go to the right 7 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So your answer is +2. Okay, so here they gave us an example with 3 numbers. So if we have -2 minus -4, so this can be changed to a plus because there are 2 negatives. So -2 plus 4. Okay, and we have a positive and a negative beside each other here, which means it'll be a negative and then 6. So you're going to start off by doing the first 2 numbers. So -4, and because it's +4, we're going to move to the right 4 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to use a different color now. So then because it's -6, you're going to go from the 2 that you just had your answer, and you're going to go back left 6 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And there's your answer. Okay. So I'm going to clear this and we'll keep moving. So a simpler way to look at it. So did you know that positives and negatives destroy each other? This is known as the cancellation effect. Think about +1 and -1. So that means that they would cancel each other out and you would get 0. So if you have a +1, so let's say you have 1 pencil and Braden takes away the 1 pencil, you're left with 0. So it has a cancellation effect. So when adding and subtracting using the cancellation effect, you still need to get rid of the double signs, but after that, you're going to think of each individual term as a separate entity whose sign is in the operation in front of it. Okay, so if we look at our first example here, so -6 minus -9, that's going to become -6 plus 9. Okay, so let's say I owed Connor $6 and I have $9. How much am I going to have after I pay him off? Okay, so that would mean that I would have $3 after. You're not always going to have a cancellation effect. So let's say it still kind of works here, but you have -4 minus 8. So in this case, I like to think of it as money and owing. So let's say I owe Tessa $4 and I owe her another $8. How much do I owe her in total? So you can think of the negatives as owing money and the positives as paying off what you owe. Okay, so I would owe Tessa a total of -12. Okay, so you're not always going to use the number line. It's really up to you, but at some point you should be able to do it without the number line. So we're going to look at some examples together. So 2 negatives put together make a positive. So 2 plus 2. Hopefully you know what that answer is. If not, then I think we have more work to do than we expected. So 2 plus 2 is 4. And then you're going to look at number 2. So -12 plus -11. So a positive and a negative make a negative. So -12 minus 11. So think of it like money again. So if I owe Mark $12 and then I owe him another 11, how much do I owe him in total? So that would come up to 23. So I owe him 23. Here we only have one area that has 2 signs beside each other. So you won't have to do anything with this sign here, but this one becomes a positive because 2 negatives come together and make a positive. Okay, so you're going to start from left to right. So you're going to start with -2 plus 9, which is 11. And then -8, which will be 3. So that one's relatively simple. You just have to put the 2 together. We look at number 4, so -1 plus +5, which gives us a positive. So if I owed $1 and I have $5, how much am I going to have left over after I pay what I owe? So it'll be 4, positive 4. Here we've got -8, and because we've got a negative and a positive, it means negative. So -8 minus 7. So you're going even more into the negatives. You're owing more money, in other words. So 15. So -15. We've got -10 minus -25. So that'll be positive. Okay, so you were in debt $10. You have $25. How much are you going to have now? So it'll be 15. Two positives are going to make a positive. So 5 plus 7. Which is equal to 12. And then a positive and a negative here, so negative. So 5 minus 12 will give us -7. Okay, so I'm going to clear this and we'll keep moving. So if you know your times tables for positive numbers, you will be fine. For negative numbers as well, there's only one simple rule. 2 negatives make it positive. So if you compare all the negatives, your total answer should be positive. In other words, if you have an odd number of negatives, you won't be able to pair them up, so your final answer will be negative. If you have an even number of negatives, then they can be paired up, so your final answer will be positive. Okay. So here, when we did so this again should be review. So when you're doing multiplication, so if you have an even number, so like if you have 2 negatives or you have 4 negatives, 6 negatives, your answer is going to be a positive because they cancel each other out. Okay, so if we look at -3 times -2, because there's 2 negatives, they're going to cancel out and your answer is going to be positive. And then you do the 3 times 2, so that'll be 6. If we look at B, for example, that's an odd number. So if there's only 1 negative or there's 3 negatives or 5 negatives, that means that your answer is going to have a negative. And then you multiply the numbers. So we only have 1 negative in this one. So our answer is going to obviously be a negative. And then 2 times 4 is 8. So it'll be -8. It's the same thing with division, the same thing with multiplication. Okay, so because we only have 1 negative between the 2 numbers here, our answer is going to be negative. And then you're going to do 12 divided by 4, which is 3. So our answer is -3. If we look at D, because there's two negatives, that means that our answer is going to be positive, and you don't have to put the positive sign, you can just put the number. And then you do 24 divided by 6, which is positive 4. Okay, now here you're going to have to count how many negatives you have to see if it's going to be a negative answer or a positive answer. So remember, if it's odd, that means that it's going to be a negative answer. And if it's even, it's going to be a positive answer. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 negatives. So that means that our answer is going to be positive. So we're going to do 1 times 3, which is 3, times 3, which is 9, times 3, or times 2, which is 18, and then times 4, which is 72. So our answer is going to be positive 72. Okay. So here we're going to work on the top part first and then do the division. So because there are only 2 negatives, so that's an even number, that means that our answer at the top is going to be positive. So 2 times 10 is 20, times 6 is 60, and then divided by -4, which means that now we have only 1 negative. So that means that our answer is going to be negative. So our answer is going to be negative. And we'll do 60 divided by 4, which is 15. Okay. Here, we are looking at how many negatives we have. So we have 1, 2, which is an even number, which means our answer is going to be positive. So you're going to do 5 times 2, which is 10, times 1, which is 10, times 3, which is 30, times 2, which is 60, and then times 6, which is 360. Okay. Again, we're going to do the top and we can do the bottom at the same time to simplify them. So there's only 1 negative at the top, so our numerator. So it'll be negative. And then we're going to do 6 times 8 times 2, which comes up to 96. And then our bottom, there's 2 negatives, which means that it's going to be a positive answer as our denominator for now. So then we do 4 times 2, which is 8. And then we're going to do negative 96 divided by 8. So because there's only 1 negative, our answer is going to be negative. And then 96 divided by 8, which is 12. So I'm going to clear this. Okay. So you've got your integer review independent questions here. There is a number line to help you the best that you can. Just remember that when you have 2 signs that are beside each other, there's no number dividing it. Sure, there might be a bracket, but no number dividing them. Make sure to put them together into 1 sign first and then do your operation. And then I will do a second video for the BEDMAS review here in just a second.